Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Facebook Live, A Course in Miracles here. And I'm glad that we're here together, and we're giving ourselves a chance to hear something other than what we hear in the world and what we tell ourselves all the time. Welcome to A Course in Miracles, and we're going to talk about the branching of the road. We're going to talk about the branching of the road, where you may be in your life right now. You might feel like you're at the branching of the road, where it's time for you to make some hardcore decisions about how you want to live your life, the direction you want to go in. And the Course in Miracles has some incredible information to share with us about the branching of the road. But before we get into that, we're going to start out with our theme song, which is I Am Not a Victim of the World I See. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. That's a Course in Miracles workbook lesson, as a matter of fact. Here we go.
I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim
of the world I see.
I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see.
Take a breath. Use this time to get centered.
I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my pa. I'm not a victim of events or circumstance at all. I'm not a victim. Take a breath of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim, no, 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 of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me.
That includes the good stuff now.
I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Yeah.
Now remember, you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of these ideas you may actively resist.
I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. I'm not a victim of anything that what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim, oh yeah, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now
Is what?
is what I done to me.
That includes the good stuff.
Help me out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no,
Of the world I see. Remember, the Course in Miracles says some of the ideas may be quite startling. It says that you're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all. I do not analyze the ideas. The Course in Miracles says it's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true.
I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's it. See you. That's it. You just found out exactly.
That was it.
That's it. That's right there. Yeah, that's the whole truth. Nothing but the truth. That we just heard it. We just heard it.
So help me, help me.
Yeah, we just heard it. We just heard it.
Wow, that was overwhelming.
I know. It was really funny. The Course in Miracles. Welcome, Mighty Companions, in here, and the Mighty Companions online. This is an opportunity for us to remember the truth together. And in the introduction of the Course in Miracles, it says, the Course in Miracles is a required course. If you study the Course in Miracles, it's important to recognize that the Course in Miracles has its own definitions of all the terms that it uses. So when it says miracles, it's talking about one of the definitions of miracles is correct perception, true perception. And so basically it's saying if we have a correct perception, it's a freaking miracle. And that's why it's called a Course in Miracles. If we respond to each other with total love and total joy and total oneness, that's a miracle. That's a bigger miracle than walking on water. I do that every time it rains. So, you know what I'm saying? So I can do that. I can walk on some water, man. But and another thing that's telling me is that it says it's a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. So only the time you take it is voluntary. Only the time you take a Course in Miracles is voluntary. That's really interesting. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will doesn't mean that you can establish the curriculum. That's another interesting statement that the Course in Miracles says. Free will doesn't mean that you can establish the curriculum that you're going to learn how to be happy. The Course in Miracles basically says we suck horribly at our ability to make ourselves happy in any type of constant, permanent way. That's the thing we tend to fail at the most, is giving ourselves any kind of constant, lasting happiness. The Course in Miracles says that our idol is called, the name of our idol is more. And I love the humor of the Course in Miracles. It says that's our idol worshiping. It's got to be more. I don't care what we get, we need more. Whatever we have, we want more. We want more. And then the Course says that can even include more pain, more suffering. Well, hey, you might have a headache, but I got a headache, a backache, and my stomach. You know what I'm saying? It's going to always be more. So the Course in Miracles says our idol is more. But if our Creator has given us everything, what can you receive that's more than everything? Right. You know, you can go to the ocean with a teaspoon or a bucket. The ocean doesn't care. God is the ocean. How much you allow yourself to receive is determining whether you go into the ocean with a teaspoon or a bucket. Some people go with a bucket. Some people go with a teaspoon. What I'm attempting to do from studying the Course in Miracles is to jump in the ocean and be part of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Not try to dip something out of the ocean for me. You know, because I feel like an ocean is bigger than an ocean drop. And I believe an ocean has a lot more power than the ocean drop. So then it says what free will actually means. What does that mean? It basically means you can't come up with the curriculum that's going to make you truly happy, and you can't come up with the curriculum that's going to allow you to remove all blocks and all limitations from your thinking. The Course in Miracles is saying, like for instance, when you go to if you want to be a lawyer and you go to college, they tell you the curriculum you're going to take. You don't tell them what you're going to take to become a lawyer. They tell you what you are going to take to become a lawyer. You don't tell God what you are going to have to do, what you've decided is going to make you happy. You allow your Creator to tell you what it is that will make you happy. I'll give you the curriculum to get rid of your anger and your guilt and your fears and your upsets. I can tell you how to do that. You can't come up with the curriculum for doing that. Then so free will means you can elect how much you want to learn at any given time. Free will means they tell me the curriculum I'm going to take in college, but I'm the one that determines whether I go in the daytime, the nighttime, how many hours I'm going to take. So the only thing that's really a part of my free will is how much of it I'm willing to take at any given time, how much of the curriculum I'm willing to do. So free will means you can decide how much truth you want to give yourself, how much personal growth you want to give yourself, how much focus on the curriculum that the Creator has for you that you want to take for yourself. And then it says the Course doesn't aim at teaching the meaning of love. The Course in Miracles does not aim at teaching the meaning of love. The Course in Miracles is not trying to teach you the meaning of love. The Course in Miracles This is very important. The Course in Miracles aims at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Love is already here. Truth is already here. Freedom is already here. Spirit is already here. God is already here. Truth is already here. What we need to do is remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That's funny. This voice in my head is shouting what I'm supposed to talk about today. It's just beyond what I couldn't have my own curriculum, just like I said.
I'll teach you.
And the name of it is Many Forms, One Correction, on page 544, chapter 26. This is a deep section. Are you sure, Spirit? You sure you're making the right decision? Because we know I know what's better. All my unhappiness in my life proves I'm an expert at what makes me happy.
Resistance.
I know. Well, I know what would make me happy. If everybody else would just do what I wanted them to do, act the way I want them to act, and be the way I wanted them to be, I'd be happy. Yeah, you know, that's the answer. The problem is y'all. If y'all get y'all's act together, I'd be happy. Certainly doesn't have anything to do with me. My happiness, unhappiness, this my mama dropped me on my head when I was 3 years old. That's why I can't have relationships decades later. I got a spanking, so I certainly couldn't be happy now. I'm traumatized always and forever because of what happened to me when I was a child. We all know it's my mama's fault. How could it be my dad's fault? He wasn't even around. So I need to stop blaming him. He wasn't even there.
Let him off the hook.
Yeah, I just let him off the hook. He wasn't even. Yeah, he wasn't doing nothing to me. You know.
That's it.
You know. If I told people what I really believed after 40 years of doing the Course in Miracles, there'd probably be very few people that would be here. Because the Course in Miracles says very outrageous things.
Just start saying it and see how many people are left.
That's why I'm looking at how many people here now. I'm seeing the result of saying it. I'm sorry, Megan, I've already found out what happens when I tell the truth. You know, it's nothing more frightening to people than telling them that they deserve love and they're sinless and they're guiltless and they're eternal and they're powerful. You know, and that they're responsible for their happiness and how they're experiencing it, man. You know, that is not a popular idea to, that's funny, every one of them is coming up except that one. Many forms, okay, here, many forms, one correction, there we go. All right. I love using my Kindle because it has huge fonts. See, I'm still deceiving myself about my eternal God-like nature because I still think I need little pieces of glass in front of my eyes before I can see things. It's the greatest deception I could ever do. Mighty companions online, good to see you here. Here we go. Now remember what I said just a minute ago. The voice was shouting at me again, and the voice said, "Funk break. Funk break. You got to do a funk break. Yeah, you got to do a funk break every now and then. Yeah, you got to do a funk. Yeah. Hey, the Holy Spirit for black people is different. Okay. Holy Spirit for black folk gonna say, you're gonna have to do some funk in there if I'm gonna talk to you and tell you the truth about how innocent you are. Okay. So the end of the Course in Miracles says, the Course doesn't aim at teaching the meaning of love because that's beyond what can be taught. The Course does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. So we're trying to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Love is in your life. I need to get rid of the blocks to keep me from realizing that. Then the Course in Miracles says, love's presence is your natural inheritance. It's not something you have to get. It's not something you have to make happen. Love is your natural inheritance. That's what you deserve. That's what you are. Okay? You just mixed up if you think you're a human being. How's it been working out for you? Think about it. Just it's like an eagle who's been raised with a bunch of chickens, and then he's forgotten his ability to fly, and then when he tries to do it the way chickens do it, then he fails miserably, right? Worst clucker in the world, right? So he feels like he's insecure. The universe must not like him. He must have some real issues, and the truth is he's not a freaking chicken. But when he remembered he was an eagle, he soared above all of the chickens, right? That's the way it is about us. Your life is a struggle, according to the Course in Miracles, because you don't know who you really are. It's an identity problem. You think you're something that's temporary, that hangs out in the body and dies one day, and tries to get a few special relationships that you hope somebody will love you a little bit, provided they act right, and provided you act right. Right? It looks like you are prey to forces beyond your control, and things are always happening to you that you don't have anything to do with because you're perfectly innocent, And the Course in Miracles is saying that perception of, oh yeah, don't forget guilt and sin. Oh, you better not forget that, when I was a kid, I was raised Southern Baptist, and the first thing I got was that I was born in sin and that the Son of God died because of something I did, even though it happened 2,000 years before I was born, and it didn't make sense to me. And I would say stuff like, that don't make no sense to me. How could I be sinful and guilty about something that happened 2,000 years? And you know what they said to me? You don't question the Bible. That's what I heard. It's like, if you had, if Adam and Eve were the first two people on the face of the earth, and they had 2 children, Cain and Abel, but I saw later on that they said they got married. Who did they marry? Were they into bestiality? What happened, No, Earl, what I want you to do to believe what I'm telling you about religion is to take all of your reason and logic and just throw it out of the window. And now you are a true spiritual person. But you know what? I remembered that this was not my home. I remembered the reality that I was in before I was born was one that was totally and complete love. And I knew that the earth must not be where I was from. So my internal recognition and knowledge of what my Creator was, it didn't leave me immediately just because I was born. For a long time during my childhood, I remembered that I chose to come here, and I chose to learn the lessons, and I chose my family, and I chose my race, and I chose my gender, because there are certain spiritual lessons that I was going to learn through the setup that I myself had chosen for myself before I came into this life. That made a hell of a lot more sense to me than being told that I was here as the result of a stork. But guess what? That's what people would say is weird, right? Weird that you could actually have some kind of a choice about this, or weird that this could be an opportunity for us to learn to evolve and grow in love. Then that makes us weird. I'm weird because I don't want to blame everybody else around me for what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. I do not want my happiness to be dependent on what you do and what you say and how you treat me. I don't want to care about what you think about me, and that's none of my business. I really mean that when I say that, It's like, you know what? Because I'm going to do what my internal guidance tells me to do, regardless of what anybody around me says or thinks. And I found out if you don't tell people what you're going to do and you just go ahead and do it, you are blessed by not having to listen to their opinion or advice.
Very good.
Because people just voluntarily give you their opinion and their advice about something that you tell them you decide to do. Which is a conscious being would never do that. A conscious being would wait to be asked. What do you think? What's your perspective for this? Unconscious people love to take the focus off of themselves and then put it on everybody else and what needs to change in everybody else. It's amazing how good people are at knowing what's better for everybody else, even though they themselves are not happy and miserable. But the brokest person in the world will be trying to tell you what to do with your money. The person that's never had a relationship that lasted more than 2 days would be trying to tell you what you should be doing in your relationship. It's amazing to me. The most judgmental, unhappy person in the world would be trying to tell you how to be happy and what you need to be doing for happiness. What you do, if you're really wise, is you want to be a channel for wisdom greater than your own. That's why I work out of the Course in Miracles book all the time. It's because if you get into the Course in Miracles and it resonates with you and it can remove your unhappiness and your blocks, then you are able to get the benefits of this material whether I'm around or not. A good teacher, their long-range goal is to make themselves unnecessary. To teach the other person as much as you can to the point that they're equal to you in knowledge, and hopefully they surpass you. You know, if you're a really good piano teacher, you hope your student one day can play better than you can. And that's what I'm hoping with everybody that I'm using as a channel. I hope they can become much more loving than me. You know, so that's why I work out the book. I'm not here to give people Earl Purdy's wisdom. What I'm here to do is to be a messenger and deliver a message. But I used to care too much about how people were going to receive the message that I was giving. You know, it's just like my mailman coming up to my door, knocking on the door, getting ready to deliver a bill, and saying, "I want to give you this bill, but I don't want you to get upset about it. I don't want you to, you want to get a cup, you want to get a little tea before I give you the bill? You know what I'm saying? You want to go out to happy hour so that when you get this news from this letter from your girlfriend and somebody, he's there to do what? Deliver a message. And then he delivers the message and he leaves it up to the person to react to the message the way. And that's where I realized I was too much as a teacher, too concerned about how people were going to receive what I was saying. And then that would sometimes affect my delivery of the message, right? Because I want to make sure I said the thing that didn't get anybody too upset. But the Course in Miracles, I love how the Course in Miracles says a truth is a fact. And if it's a fact, it doesn't change no matter what you feel about it. And I've used this analogy often because it's something we can relate to, and I'm going to say it again because I'm the divine repetition teacher. I'm the remembering coach. Those of you, if you're looking for another Course in Miracles talk where the teacher is going to analyze the Course in Miracles, I'm the wrong person. In the 41 years that I've been working with the Course in Miracles, and yes, my family still asks me when I'm going to finish that book. I've been taking my time. The Course in Miracles says, read me slowly. That's what I'm doing, right? So the Course in Miracles is saying to us over and over and over again that the opposite of love is fear. So if I'm feeling fear, I'm not feeling love. How do I know when I'm not feeling love for you? I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of you. My test is personally as to when I'm really experiencing love with somebody and I know I love them. My one little test is, do I feel peaceful about having unlimited communication without fear? If I'm afraid to talk to you, if I'm afraid to share my thoughts with you, if I'm afraid to share anything, communicating, then I know I'm not in love with you. I'm not really expressing true love for you. Now, I might be experiencing specialness for you. You know, you may be a person that's very special to me. As a matter of fact, you're so special that I won't say certain things to you because I don't want to lose my specialness. I want to keep my specialness. And I know if I told you I had lunch with Susan May yesterday, so you're going to go track what Susan May?
It's over.
Last week you went out to lunch with Laquita. Okay, all right. Yeah, all we did was sit there and talk and had a meal. There was nothing to be threatening to your ego that happened. But you're tripping. So how much do you think I'm going to want to tell you the next time I have lunch with Laquita? Zero. See, when you attack people when they tell you the truth and they're open to you and you feel justified because you're all upset about what they did, all you're doing is guaranteeing they're going to still do what they want to do. You just won't know about it. If they really want to do it, they're going to still do it. You just won't know about it. So anger doesn't make friends, as the Course says. We think anger makes friends. If I get angry at you because you're not hugging me enough, that's going to make you want to hug me. Y'all can relate to that, right? I mean, we do stupid stuff. Y'all know we do stupid stuff like that all the time. We think about how much anger and upset we show towards somebody, they're going to respond to us with love. No, even if they do it, they're doing it out of resentment, or they're doing it out of fear of loss. Loss of what? Specialness. What we call, and I've said this almost every class, and I'll never want to forget it, the Course in Miracles teaches that what we are doing is not love. It's specialness. When you say you love somebody, if you're the average person, the only thing you're saying is, you are special to me. And because you're special to me, there are certain conditions and rules that go along with that. There are certain agreements and bargains you have to keep. And if you don't keep those bargains, and if you don't keep those agreements, I'm going to withdraw my love. But they're not really withdrawing their love, they're withdrawing their what? their specialness. You will no longer be as special to them as you were. Specialness is a bargain. Quote, the Court says, specialness is a bargain made with guilt. It's a, you know what I'm saying? You better be home on time every day at 6:30 for dinner. That's the bargain. If you want to get my good energy. And then I'm going to get angry if you don't, which is my way of making you feel so guilty that you'll come home. So the Court says we use guilt to manipulate each other. Yeah. And anger and specialness and bargains. And it says another reason why you know you're not doing real love, and this is what really upsets people who are unaware of love, is that it includes everybody and is given equally to all. That we're counting on our Creator loving all of us and loving all of us equal. I'm counting on that which created me to care just as much about you as it does about me. Aren't you? But that's not the way we do love. So how can we really be doing real love when our love isn't matching the love the way the Creator loves? Wouldn't it seem like love would have to be the way the Creator defined love, through being that way? So love is all inclusive. And love is unconditional. There's nothing I can do to lose the eternal love. I can't. You can't lose real love. You can only lose fake love. You can only lose specialness, but you can't lose love. There have been people in my life that have swore they did love me so much, I meant everything in the world. They loved me so much, they loved me so much. And then when I didn't keep the bargain, when I didn't respond to the guilt, and it still was going to be who I was, and now we never even speak to each other and see each other, talk to each other. But that was the person who had such undying love with me that they was getting upset about the things I was doing. Yeah. Yeah, but if it meant that much, how could you let me go so fast? Because it never was real in the first place. It was a bargain. It was agreement. In your perception, I didn't keep the agreement. I don't want that kind of love anymore. I don't want that kind of love anymore. But I have to pay the price for not wanting that kind of love anymore. You know what I have to do? I have to not be that way myself. I have to be unconditionally loving myself. I have to be forgiving and kind myself. I'm a control freak, and over the last year, I have exerted 100% control like never before. And it was over me. Satisfying my desire to control got incredible benefits. I've grown more spiritually through this crisis that we've been going through than 10 years combined before that. I learned from teaching the Course in Miracles and studying it for 40 years that when something comes up that frightens me or upsets me or challenges me, that's when I should get into the truth in God the most. So I took everything that was happening and I was using it as fuel to get even deeper into what this material was teaching. And I saw it work more accurately than I've ever seen it in the 40 years that I've been working on it. And it didn't involve convincing another soul about nothing. I didn't have to convince nobody. I didn't have to get anybody to agree with me. I could just choose to think this way for myself. So I found the secret to manifesting. If you're into manifesting, all you have to do is be what you want to have. See, be it and you'll have it, because everything is going to be a reflection of what you are and how you think. So you don't have to worry about having anything you're willing to become. I'm becoming kinder, and guess what's happening? The people in my life are becoming kinder. I used to be like hell on wheels, expecting everybody around me to be loving. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I was expecting, I thought I was going to, you know how people visualize and about what they want to create and that kind of thing. And then you hear them go, what kind of mate do you want to have? What kind of partner do you want? I want somebody that's spiritual, brilliant, patient, rich, fun, certain look, certain size. They're just going to, and open-minded, forgiving, nurturing, freeing. And then the question that comes up in me is what? Would a person like that want you? Right? You want this super fantastic person in your life. Do you exemplify any of the qualities that you just got through saying? It's a really brilliant, conscious person praying every day for, Lord, please send me the most dysfunctional woman you can personally come up with. I've been doing the Course in Miracles for 40 years. I want the most unconscious woman you can be, that's jealous and insecure and fearful. That's who I'm praying for tonight. And fortunately, that's what I have in my life. Conscious, loving. I'm looking at conscious, loving beings right now. You know, I have conscious, loving being that loves me as I am right now. But guess what? If none of y'all love me, I'm still going to be okay. I'll just be praying to God like, oh my God, Lord, please help them. They missed an opportunity to be with me. What punishment? What self-sabotage? They could have been with somebody who's trying to learn how to be forgiving, someone who's wanting to be kind, someone who wants to see themselves as joined with them, one with them, wants to support who they are, wants to let them be, not try to control or manipulate them, and they have no interest in me whatsoever. That's what you got to eventually realize, that people are blessed to be in your presence, and that's not egotistical. It's egotistical when you see yourself in a negative way. That's egotistical. When you think you're not good enough and you don't deserve love and you're angry with yourself and you're upset, that's egotistical. Sometimes I don't compliment people as much as I'd like to compliment them, because they'll either say, you say that to everybody, as if that's like, that okay, I'm less sincere about liking chocolate cake because I like apple pie too. I'm sorry if you're not the only one in the world that deserves to be seen as valuable. And I said, no, that's why you can believe me. It's because you know that I want to be loving to everybody. And you're totally unique, so it doesn't take away anything that I just said to you either, right? So the truth is, you deserve love. I want to be a witness to the fact that you deserve love. And if you are in the presence of someone who's loving you and treating you right, then you have had a direct experience of someone like me, a male, treating you in a loving way, which blows the theory that you can attract men into your life who are loving and kind, because there's one standing right in front of you. So the Course in Miracles says there's nothing more powerful than a witness. We can talk a good game, but it's not until we actually live in it and demonstrating it that it's really real. And people are good at talking a good game. And I would rather people talk loving things to me, even if they can't do none of it, like an average person. But I'm also glad to be around people who talk a loving game and then they demonstrate it. So I don't mind you saying really loving things that you yourself are not doing, or me that I'm not. I'd rather hear that than the negative stuff, because the first stage of accepting the truth is hearing it. So first you hear it. He says, first you hear it, then you repeat it, and then you begin to believe it more with some reservations. He says, then you consider it seriously, and you keep repeating it. He says, then you eventually accept it. It's true that's how you accept a new idea. It has to be repeated. It has to be repeated, because the way that you think about yourself right now, you believe that because of what you repeated to yourself or what was repeated to you. If you had been told from the time you were born that you were a cougar, well, I'm not going to use that one. Please, Steve. Please. There are some cougars out there. So let's do that another. I'm so old now, I'm a woolly mammoth. I'm way beyond cougar.
No.
He's a woolly mammoth. Every time somebody tell me age just a digit, I want to smack them. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody that's a hell of a lot younger. You know. Ultimately, it is a digit. Tell my knees that. I'm so glad I'm not my body. I'm so glad that the Course in Miracles has taught me how to get in touch with that part of myself that believes it's beyond the body and knows itself beyond the body. It's made it so much more fun to be in one if I know I'm not it. You know, it's easier to be a so-called black man or a man of color since I know I'm spirit. I chose this suit because I needed to reach some people in this particular form that they would receive the lesson that they needed to learn through that. And that's the reason why you're the way you are. And you can tell the people that you were sent to heal and teach, because the people you were sent to heal and teach, would you like to know how you can always tell? The way you can always tell is because when you are serving where you're supposed to be serving, you feel inspired. It raises your energy. The people that you think you're trying to help and you feel totally drained is because you decided you're the one that's supposed to help them in some way that is not really you. I'm telling you. So if you're around, so keep that in mind. God's will for you is perfect happiness, and the Course teaches that your happiness and your function are one. So therefore, that means when you're fulfilling your function, you can tell because of the joy that you feel. So if you're trying to fix somebody, change somebody, and they're resisting you every inch of the way, you need to be quiet and back off, because you are not the one that's supposed to be trying to get that message across to them. And it doesn't mean that they won't get it just because you're not the one delivering it. Any mailman could have delivered the same letter to me. It's not the mailman that mattered, it was what was in the letter that mattered. It's the content. So sometimes your children will hear something through somebody else that they'd never hear through you, but still end up acting more sane. And in the end, that's what you want. You want them acting more sane. It's only your ego that needs to be able to say, I was the one that made my child turn out this way. You know, I don't care who helps my kid act right. Right? So the Course in Miracles says the opposite of love is fear. What is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing real can be threatened. If I have a real relationship, then nothing can threaten it. Whatever is real cannot be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. So if the relationship isn't real, it don't exist no way. If you all are never acknowledging each other, being kind to each other, being loving to each other, helping each other remember the truth and how innocent and guiltless and sinless and appreciated you are with each other, I don't know how to break it to you, but according to this, you're not in something that's real. It doesn't even exist. A relationship that you're that afraid of losing isn't a relationship. If it's real, it can't be threatened. If it's real, it cannot be threatened. If it's real, it cannot be threatened. If it's real, it cannot be threatened. If it's a fact, it's going to be true whether you believe it or not. Oh, then it says, herein lies the peace of God. Herein lies the peace of God. Course in Miracles says one definition of peace from A Course in Miracles is total fulfillment. Complete. I love that. My special thing for the last 4 decades has been learning all the definitions as much as I can of the words, and then substituting those definitions that blow your mind. Like if you say, herein lies the peace of God. Okay, the Course says peace is complete fulfillment and total fulfillment. And then it says God is love, right? So you could also say, herein lies the total fulfillment of love. See, that resonates even more in my body than even when I say the peace of God. Because I'm going to project what I think the peace of God would be like based on what I learned in the past, which is frankly sounds boring as hell. Most people's idea, they think you say peace and then they go, oh, that sounds kind of boring. I remember thinking that way. Oh, peace. Oh, that's like nothing really exciting is going to be going on. Right? So the Course says, no, well, how about total fulfillment? And And then of God. Oh, the total fulfillment of love. Right? So what's the total fulfillment of love? Nothing real can be threatened. I'm going to have total fulfillment in my love with you. One of the freakiest things happens in my relationship that I'll tell a partner is that if I really feel like that connection is there, I'm going to say, I know I don't care. All right. I will love you regardless of what you do with your body. Nobody ever jumps up and down with you. You would think a person would go, oh, that means there's nothing I could do that could make you leave me. There's nothing I could do that would make that. Because they know they can't do the same thing for you. They know they can't love you unconditionally no matter what you do with your body. And if they feel like they need to have your body all to themselves, right? Then they're certainly not going to say, I'm going to love you regardless of what you do with your body. So I recognize that there's a part of me that is completely bought into everything that the world teaches about specialness and how the world should be in the conditions and the limitations that you should put on somebody's body. And I also know that there's a part of me that knows that love is freedom and it's unconditional, just like the Course does. So the spiritual path is learning how to get rid of the blocks and the fears that would keep you from going to a total and complete unconditional love. So it's a work in progress. Does that mean that I might not feel possessive, or I might not feel jealous, or I might not want to have that person all to myself in some kind of way? No, I've got the conditioning and programming that I got from the world just like everybody else does. But just because I have that conditioning and programming doesn't mean I got to keep it. Part of being conscious is me realizing that I can make the choices of right now about what I want to believe. And that's how you never let your past rule you, is to use the truth that you're learning right now in the present moment and stop interpreting your present in past terms and then projecting it into the future and then experiencing it again. That last person that you were with is not the person you're with now is not the last person that you were with. They're two different people. Stop treating the new one like they're the old one and judging what the new one is going to do based on what you went through with the old one. That's not fair. And then you're going to create a self-fulfilling prophecy some kind of way for yourself. And you're going to bring about the very loss that you are afraid of by treating that new person as if they are the last person. And then treating them, and also acting like you are the same person that you were then. So you can't ever say that because something didn't work for you in the past, it couldn't happen now. You're not the same person that you were then. So now you would do relationships different, or you would do your career different, or you would do the time, because you're on a new level of consciousness. So any time you're using your past experience as the criteria by which to judge what you could do right now, then the Course in Miracles says, you are delusional. I am not your last boyfriend. Stop treating me like I am. I did not do what he did. I'm not him. Well, this is not going to happen to me again. I know, because you won't have nobody. There would be nobody to do it again with. First of all, you'd be too scared. You never open up your... The weirdest things I can ask couples sometimes when I'm doing counseling is, are you in love? Oh, what the hell is he asking us? Yeah, but yeah, you're saying you want your relationship to work and you want to get past the blocks. Do you love each other? No, that's why I'm coming to you. To do what? Help you get rid of the blocks. Help you get rid of the blocks to the awareness of the love that y'all could share. But you got to want to believe it's there. You got to want to join on the idea of you having it. Why would you, in the world, would you want to be with somebody that doesn't make your heart sing or rap? Baby, I love you. You're the coolest thing I've ever seen. When was the last time you were with somebody that made your heart sing? Or did you just not want to be alone? Or did you just want some form of security? Or were you just bored? You know, how many times have you ever been in the presence of someone that you love so much that it's effortless to love them? You can't help but be kind. You can't help but be nurturing because you love them. That's the way love is. There's no effort in it. The person you're efforting and you're trying to figure out, do I love them? If you're efforting, you don't. That means you don't. But we're so used to everything having to be earning it and making it happen, because that's where we live. That's the illusion we live in, that we forget that love is effortless. Love doesn't demand anything of you. It doesn't have any scripts. It doesn't have any bargains. That's the kind I want. And so I have to learn how to have it for myself. So the Course in Miracles says, in many forms, one correction. I'm going to see if I can cover a bit of this before it's time. Time is spinning. It's speeding by so fast. I got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And there's some of you going, thank God. I thought this one just so like fingernails on the chalkboard. I'm so glad that man getting through. Good God. And then there are some people going, oh man, that felt like 5 minutes. Boy, I wish I could hear more of how I deserve to have love. That's not something that I think I need a trophy for being able to hear. Oh my God, I made it to a whole hour of that. What was he saying? I deserve love and unconditional love, and that I'm free. And he wanted me to have things that was real. And oh God, let me get out of here so I can go listen to the news. Because we know that's going to make us feel better. Or better yet, you know those people you go talk to, right? The ones who don't uplift you, right? Oh, God. So it's on page 544, and it's many forms, one correction. If I don't finish this today, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to go further on it, because that's the same as saying many forms of problems, one correction. So if you think you got many different issues, many different problems, many different issues, many different problems, you're dealing with financial stuff, relationship stuff, job stuff, career stuff, health stuff. You're trying to do something about your breath. If you got all these issues. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know there's some people you wish they would go take the course to do something about their breath, don't you? Right? So, your voice your breath is a call for love. It's a call for God. No, God said, don't direct it my way. Okay. It's not difficult to understand the reasons why you don't ask God to solve all problems for you. It's not hard to understand why you don't ask God to solve all problems for you. It's not difficult to understand why you don't ask the Creator to solve all your problems. It's not difficult to understand why you won't let God solve all your problems for you. See, I like that. See, you just take that one sentence. It is not difficult to understand the reasons why you do not ask the Holy Spirit to solve all problems. How? For you. For you. That's what got me into the Course in Miracles. I noticed it kept saying that over and over throughout the book. Let me do this for you. Get out of the way. Let me do this for you. Get out of the way. And then I talk to everybody around me, including myself, and all I hear is what they're trying to figure out how to do on their own. Because that's what we've been taught an adult does. They're autonomous, they're self-sufficient, and they do everything all by themselves. And that's the problem. That's actually the problem, is that we leave God out, we leave Spirit out, we leave the higher power out. That which loves you does it for you. I open the door for you, right? I love you, I do some things for you. If I love you, I'll do some things let me go outside and, get the snow off the windshield for you. Yeah. Oh, would you like me to fix you breakfast this morning? People who love you and appreciate you, they want to do things for you. It's the opposite of, well, when you going to get out there and clean that windshield? Oh, that made me want to get out of bed bad. And then it says, then the Holy Spirit doesn't have greater difficulty in resolving some problems than other problems. For Spirit is not harder to solve some of your problems than your other problems. It says, Holy Spirit has not greater difficulty in resolving some problems than others. Because every problem is the same to God, a problem that can be solved. And the Course in Miracles says, how do you do it? He says, well, every problem is the same to love. Every problem is the same to higher power, because each problem is solved in just the same respect. And that means through the same approach. So as you become more conscious, you use the same approach to every one of your problems, and you don't treat any of your problems differently. You solve them through the same approach and in the same respect. Now, the aspects of the problem that need to change, the aspect of the problem that needs solving doesn't change. Whatever, I love it. He says, okay, come on. Okay, there you go. The aspects that need solving don't change. Whatever form the problem seems to take, what needs to be solved about the problem doesn't change. No matter what your problem looks like, the thing that needs to be solved about it is the same. So that means that even if it looks like you got a health problem, or upset stomach problem, or a mental problem, an emotional problem, however you describe your problem to me, the Course in Miracles says what needs to change about that problem is the same. And a problem can appear in many forms. So when you have a problem, it's going to appear in many forms. So if you have a lot of problems, or you have some issues and something that upsets you, then the Course in Miracles says that as long as you keep the problem is going to keep showing up, but it's going to keep showing up in different ways and through different appearances. So if it looks like you have a lot of different problems, what you're really dealing with is the same problem appearing in different appearances. That's what there is no difference between your health problem and your financial problem and your relationship problem and your job problem. Those problems are not different problems. So that means it doesn't serve any purpose to attempt to solve a problem in a special form. Trying to solve a problem in a special form, the Course in Miracles says it serves no purpose. If you are attempting to solve each one of your problems with the idea that they're different problems that you're dealing with, he says, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if you're not solving the problem the way the problem really should be solved. It's going to keep happening over and over and over again. So if you keep on seeing certain issues and patterns in your life happening over and over and over again, then it means you don't recognize what the problem is. You don't know what the problem is. If you haven't been able to have a relationship that's worked in 10 years, you don't know what your problem is in relationships. Even if you tell yourself you know what the problem is, you don't know what the problem is. He says because the problem hasn't been solved unless it's been solved for all time, it won't come up again in any kind of way ever. So that makes total sense to me. If you really solve the problem, it should not recur. That's what the Course in Miracles to me is like super common sense, and that's why it drives people crazy. Because I think I had a headache, and now the headache is gone, and now I have another headache, and now the headache is gone. So that means I really haven't solved having headaches, because if I had really solved having headaches, I would never have another headache for the rest of my life. So what's important is to stop telling yourself that you solved something that you still continue to deal with over and over and over and over and over again. It means you don't really know what the problem is, and you haven't allowed the Holy Spirit to solve the problem for you. You haven't learned how to get out of the way enough to let love solve the problem for you. That's your problem. Your problem is that you have no relationship at a conscious level with your Creator. You have a communication problem. You don't know how to listen. And how can you listen if you're asleep? Sometimes that's the only way we listen. It's from being asleep. So now I try to heal people by not talking to them. Because all I'm talking to is their ego, the part of them that doesn't want to change, the part of them that's conditioned to want to be the way that it's always been. That's the only reason why a person would be defensive when you try to give them the answer that they themselves asked for. They want to still keep going through the pain that problem is giving them. You can always tell when a person is not ready to give their pattern up yet. And the way you can tell when a person is not ready to give their pattern up that's hurting them is that they won't take any responsibility for having made it. It's not until you take responsibility that you're ready to let go of a habit or a programming. And everything I'm saying to you, the Course in Miracles says there's a part of you that's going to do everything in its power not to hear what I'm saying to you right now. There's a part of the mind that's going to do everything in its power not to hear what I'm telling you right now. And what I'm telling you is, if you have a recurring problem that you have not been able to get rid of, a pattern that you still have, something that you see coming up over and over and over again, then you have not become aware of what aspect of that really needs to be solved. Because when you're really through with your love problems, your abundance problems, any kind of problem, the way you can tell that you've done what's necessary, that you remembered what's necessary, is that the problem will be answered for all time, and it won't rise again, it won't rise again. I love that. He says it won't rise again. Your problem will not rise again. And again. You want to get rid of some weeds, you don't just cut the weed. What do? You yank it up out of the roots, and then it'll never come back. We're just cutting the grass. That's all people do all the time, cutting the grass of their problems. They're not dealing with the root issues at all, because to deal with the root issue of your problem, you have to not separate yourself from it. The Course in Miracles says, as long as you remove yourself from the problem, it will remain unsolved, because the problem is you. The way you are seeing it, the way you are thinking about it, the way you are approaching it. So never take yourself out of the problem, or you will keep the problem unsolved. So as soon as you say the problem is anything and anybody outside of yourself that's keeping you unhappy right now, I know you're a person that still want to stay miserable. But if you're sitting there going, okay, I'm willing to see how somehow or another I might be responsible for how I'm feeling right now, and that I may have something to do with the things that happened to me. Earl, I got some resistance against that, but still, you just told me the truth. You delivered the message. There's a part of me that's got some resistance about that. But I've already tried blaming everybody else and seeing everybody else is responsible for my own happiness and trying to control everybody else and make them be the way that I want them to be, and it hasn't worked. I'm miserable still. Problems still keep coming up over and over again. Guess what, Earl? I would much rather be happy than be right. I'd much rather be happy than be right. I'd much rather, right now I'm willing to say I don't really know what this is for. I don't really know why I'm doing this. I'm going to stop saying I know. I'm going to stop saying, using the two terms I know, because I know means there's no need for me to receive information from the universe, because why would the universe want to give me information and help me if I think I already know? So first thing I need to do if I'm a miserable, unhappy person in any area of my life is say, I don't know what this is for. I don't know what this is for. I don't know what they are for. I don't know what they are for. I want another way to look at them. I want another way to look at this. I'm willing to look at it another way. Perhaps I could look at it another way. What could I lose by asking? So I'm willing to do what's necessary to have the universe, Holy Spirit, solve this problem for me so that it will never come up again for the rest of my life.
Oh, it will be.
Thank you for hearing that much. All right? I'm going to do a quick recap. I'm going to do a quick recap in just a minute. I really want to thank you for checking out my classes. I want to thank you all for showing up in person. It's still weird for me to have people in front of me. I've gotten accustomed to not having any in front of me. So it's a trip when you're looking at people's faces. Yeah, because when you're teaching, people don't realize what they look like. You know, because you can see everything. You can see everybody that go to sleep. You can see everybody that's looking happy. You see everything. Everybody. It's like they don't know you can see them. It's really kind of funny. It's like, you know. And so when you're like fired up and you're all excited and somebody's like, it's hard to stay motivated. But if you just doing it to the camera, you don't see any of that. So you see the advantages of both of them. I love having people before me. That gives me a particular energy and way. But I also saw the advantage of not seeing faces. And so I'm pretty successful in not seeing faces. You know, but then that's also the spiritual lesson of knowing what? I'm here to deliver a message. And therefore, however people want to receive it is okay. And everybody's innocent no matter what their reaction is, because that would be me expressing unconditional love, the thing that I'm saying I want to be so that I can have it. So how am I going to learn being tolerant for however people are unless they be however they are, and I'm tolerant and open-minded about it? So ever since I made that decision to be unconditionally loving, I've had endless opportunities to practice it. Like, oh, you want to learn how to forgive? Well, how about this? Can you forgive this? Can you forgive that? Can you overlook this? Can you overlook that? And so when Spirit teaches you how to do things, you can tell the Spirit teaching you how to do it, because when Spirit is teaching you how to do things, Spirit never asks you to do anything that you're not able and willing to do. Is what the Course, I keep saying this is what the Course of Miracles says, but it makes sense to me. Say God would never ask you to do anything that you're not willing and able to do. The part of you that doesn't love you is going to always come up with things for you to do that you got a lot of resistance to doing, and you're not really able to do it, right? So if I say right now, in this day, I feel like I ought to be giving $10,000 to a particular charity, but I don't have the money to do that. Well, then I know that's not God asking me to do it, because God's going to ask me to do what I'm willing and able to do. Remember that. And another good thing from the Course in Miracles, if you want to know the difference between when you're listening to your ego, which is the false voice, and your true voice, is that when you are listening to your true voice, I'll say it again, you feel inspired. It turns you on. It moves you. You know, I've been doing this 41 years. Does it look like I'm bored? No. You saw the excitement coming through me. That's how I know I'm supposed to be doing it. When it stops being that way, now I know that my teaching ministry is going through a change right now. And so so right now I'm asking the Holy Spirit, what is it you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What you want me to say? And who you want me to say it to? Because everything has changed. And so I have to be willing to go, okay, I'm still going to be a teacher of the Course in Miracles, but how do you want me to do it? And that's what you want to do. I want to have the one correction, and the one correction is me being willing to ask. Because that's what we don't do. So I want to thank you for tuning in, and if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation or a donation, just go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, and you can use Venmo and Zelle and PayPal, and the Cash App. You can just use my email address, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. That's my email address. If you're here, I will give you the same opportunity, and you're innocent no matter what you do or don't do. Give or not give, it's okay. I appreciate you so much for sharing with me. Those who would like to get mentored, coached, or advised, work with me on a personal one-on-one level called Clarity Sessions, then just come to my website, earlpurdy.com, and at earlpurdy.com, you can look under the Clarity Sessions tab, and it displays all my services that I give, and you can book an appointment with me right from my website. You can book an appointment for me right from my website. I've also been an astrologer and a sole purpose astrologer and numerologist for also over 4 decades. And so those who are open to also receiving information through that particular channel, I am available to do that too. Truth, Spirit speaks to us through everything. I love how the Course in Miracles says the Holy Spirit uses whatever you've made to wake you up. So you don't have to change your whole physical life just because you're trying to be more spiritually awake. Because right where you are could be used to teach you every lesson that you could ever want to learn, and in a joyful way. Now remember, the Holy Spirit wants happy learners. So get rid of that idea that if you do it in the spiritual way, it's somehow or another is going to be dull and boring and unsatisfying and full of sacrifice. The Course says that's the path you're already on. So you're already doing that path. All right. So 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time on Thursdays on Facebook Live. I do Hardcore Course in Miracles on the Earl Purdy page. Earl Purdy page, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, Hardcore Course in Miracles. And also on Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. I want to welcome you, want you to check it out and share the video and listen to it at least 4 times. Listen to it at least, because remember, it's the repetition, it's the repetition. It's the repetition. You think the way you think now because it was repeated to you and you repeated it to yourself to the point that you believed it. But the truth works faster than a lie. So it won't take you as long to have your mind healed as it did to get it all messed up. Okay. See, thank goodness. Thank goodness. The Holy Spirit offers you release from every problem that you think you have. All your problems are the same to God, to Spirit, regardless of what the problem is, regardless of the form that it takes. Until you recognize that you don't know what the problem is, that's why the problem has not been solved. You want to say to Spirit right now, you want to say, we're going to cover exactly how all your problems are solved over the next few weeks. Here we go. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem. Say that to yourself. Recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Ask that, and the problem ultimately you're going to see is separation. That's the only real problem, is that we think we're separate, and we think we're separate from our Creator. But if you really want to get past that block, then I'm here for you to deliver the message. The Course in Miracles has the answer to every problem that you think you have, and it tells you exactly how to get rid of the blocks. But the Course says, asking you shall receive. So let's take another minute and let's say it one more time to ourselves, so it's a little rhythm gets it in. And you say, let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem. Let you recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let you recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let you recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let you recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Listen to this, watch this at least 4 times, mighty companion. I love you, thank you for showing up today. Y'all are awesome. If you're not terrified, and I understand if you are, hugs are available.